Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Golf Center here on WHHI Sports. Along with Bob Stevens, I'm PGA professional Chris Tremblay. And Bob, we've got a lot of people coming to see us today.
It is a jam-packed show. We're going to talk a lot about changes at the International Junior Golf Academy. They've had really kind of an upheaval over there. Changes at the Sea Pines Resort to the physical plant. Changes in our bodies and how maybe to take care of that golfer's elbow. We're going to have the director of fitness at Colleton River there will be joining us, and also a golf tournament that could be providing some change for some families in Beaufort County. So a very busy show. Let's get to the headlines.
Absolutely. Let's get to the headlines. First of all, let's start out with the U.S. team of any golf team has won an international competition. The U.S. Walker Cup team defeats Great Britain and Ireland by the score of 17-9, a big victory for them. They had to get the cup back. They lost it in 2011 over Royal Aberdeen. Nice to see a U.S. team get a win.
Nice to see them win, winning on Long Island. Just a storied golf course, and a guy from our island being a huge part of it. Todd White, who is a history professor, I would call him, certainly a professor of golf, history teacher at Hilton Head Island High School, a part of the team as one of the two mid-ams that were picked for the team. And he was the winner in his singles match as they finished things off, and didn't get the winning point, but I think it was the point that set up the winning point.
Yes, Nathan Smith, actually the other mid-am, was able to capture the winning point on Sunday. U.S. team trailed after the morning round on the first day. Took it over in the afternoon, the first day, and then they went ahead and cruised the second day to a big victory.
You know, we're going to get Todd on the show sometime.
We are.
We got to get him out of class first. He's back. He's got some making up to do.
We got to talk to him about that special experience, because that's got to be just something that you would obviously never forget. Very, very special.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to the U.S. Walker Cup team. It's nice to see a victory in our corner. Let's move over to what's happening on the PGA Tour this week. They had a week off last week. The FedEx Cup is going up to Chicago this week. They have 70 players left. After this week, the mad fight is on to see who's going to be in the low 30.
And they're playing a golf course none of them have played before in tour competition. They have played amateur events there. I know Brant Snedeker, for one, has played an amateur event there. Some of the guys in their youth have played there, but they're not playing Cog Hill this year.
No, they're not.
They're playing a different golf course, and it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out and what 30 go on to Atlanta for the Tour Championship. This has been a roller coaster year. Yeah, you've got Tiger and Phil up at the top of the standings, but right on the bubble, Billy Horschel and a Jordan Spieth, who could come out of nowhere and maybe win the FedEx Cup.
You have 2 good weeks. He's next 2, and you definitely could be a FedEx Cup champion, which is $10 million. So
Henrik Stenson going into the weekend is number 1.
He's number 1. Tiger's number 2. Like we said, the whole deal is you want to be in the top 5 because you control your destiny at East Lake, which means if you're a winner at East Lake and you were in the top 5 going in, you win the FedEx Cup.
Absolutely. That's how it worked last year for Brant Snedeker.
A couple names that aren't in the top 30 right now that have to play their way in this week. All Ryder Cuppers. Ricky Fowler, 36. Bubba Watson, 40. Rory McIlroy, 41. Graham McDowell, 48. Luke Donald all the way down to 54.
Isn't that something? And they've got some serious work to do. Speaking of former Ryder Cuppers, some interesting news on the President's Cup team coming up.
Over at the President's Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, the captains have made their picks. Freddie Couples picked number 11 Webb Simpson, who got knocked out the week before by Zach Johnson.
Got knocked out on a 30-foot putt.
That's right, a 30-foot putt.
Zach Johnson made a huge
putt
on the final hole to knock Webb out. Webb Simpson's a great player and probably deserves to be on this team.
Sure.
I don't think anybody argues that pick. The semi-controversial pick was picking young Jordan Spieth, the 20-year-old out of Texas who has been just outrageously good for a guy who started the year with no status at all.
Right.
Picking him over a veteran like a Jim Furyk, who did go undefeated on the last President's Cup team when they played down in Australia.
Yeah, no doubt a tough pick. You know, you look at the youth. Jordan only had 1 year to accumulate all the points he could for the President's Cup. He actually made it up to 22nd, but you know, with the way he played, seeing he's potentially a future Ryder Cupper, needless to say, I think a pretty good choice by Freddie.
Well, all the guys appreciate what he has done, and I think he'll be a good teammate too. And he just played in the Walker Cup a couple of years ago,
That's right.
So here's a guy who has some of that international experience as well.
And to Furyk's credit, he was very disappointed not to be picked, but he took the high road, and he's really, you know, as a true team player that he is, and I think we'll see Jim Furyk back in many team events.
I think we will, yeah.
And the last thing for headlines today, we have to wish a happy birthday this week to the King, Arnold Palmer. Turned 84 years old, and you know, what can you say about the King? Everything he's done for golf.
He's standing next to Kate Upton. You can't beat that. Got an Arnie story?
I have an Arnie story. When I was a caddy at Muirfield Village as a kid, the very first year of the Memorial, the second day of the tournament, the 9th hole, The whole hill behind the green is covered with fans. Arnold comes down, makes a birdie, gets to 1 under. I watched as a 14-year-old kid the entire hill get up and move to the 10th hole. It was just like the entire hill. All of a sudden, there were 3 people left on the hill. That was my neatest Arnold Palmer story.
He is the king, indeed. Let's all go have an Arnold Palmer and toast him.
We'll have an Arnold Palmer for him.
Absolutely. Much more ahead as we continue here on Golf Center. We're going to talk about the changes at the IJGA. They are significant and very positive. At least they believe so. Also, we're going to talk about a tournament coming to Beaufort County to help Beaufort County residents. That's going to be fantastic. And also some changes cosmetically, and I think it's going to help play as well at Sea Pines Resort. All of that, and then maybe work on your golfer's elbow
We're
as
going to
well.
do that right after this.
Kind of our theme this week is a time for change, certainly a time for change at the International Junior Golf Academy. They have decided to part ways with Hank Haney, and boy, they've got some exciting new things to announce, and here to help us with all of that is Marshall Welch. He is the Director of Marketing and Communications at the International Junior Golf Academy. Marshall, welcome to Golf Center. Tell us about your new Director of Instruction and what kind of momentum you guys have going into the fall season.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Sure. It's an exciting time for the International Junior Golf Academy. We've added Kevin Smeltz to our list of coaching staff. He's our Director of Instruction at the IJGA. Kevin brings a plethora of experience with him. He's got players that he coaches from the PGA, LPGA, Web.com, Champions Tour, and a whole list of others. He's also got years of experience running an academy down in Florida. You may have heard of the David Ledbetter Golf Academy.
Yeah, we have.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit
somewhere
there.
Yeah.
So, and he also ran the same academy in Japan. So he brings all of that experience to the IJGA.
So how do you see him coming in and obviously probably being there a little bit more than Hank had the availability, benefiting the IJGA as a whole?
Well, number one, like you said, he's going to be here full time. He'll still work with his PGA, LPGA, and professional players, but he's going to work with them on a about 10 to 15% basis and spend the rest of the time with our students at the academy. That's a huge benefit for our players. They'll get the individualized instruction and teaching that we promise and that we really want our students to have.
Yeah. Speaking of promise, you guys are promising a 100% college placement guarantee, I guess it is. Explain how that works.
Yeah, like I said, it's an exciting time here at the IJGA. We just announced this program. No other academy does this in the world. We guarantee if you're a rising senior or a postgraduate student, basically you've graduated high school and haven't been happy with your recruitment process or haven't gone into college just yet, we guarantee you college placement. We really feel like this program is a huge development for not only us, but the junior golf world as a whole.
And it's not a crazy guarantee because your placement rate has been so high anyway, has it not? Tell us a little about that.
That's correct. We've actually historically had somewhere around 94% college placement anyway. So it's not much of a stretch to go that extra 6%. It is a guarantee, so there are some things there, but we figured out basically the formula how to do this. There are a few factors that we know as long as the student works hard, goes to practices, attends school, and does the right things, we can guarantee them college placement in a list of schools that fit their ability, that fit their academic needs, and a couple other factors as well.
And you've got kids going to a whole range of schools.
That's
right
true.
Now,
That's true. Yeah, just actually, in fact, this last graduating class, we had UCLA, NYU, Yale, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. We've historically, we've placed students in Oklahoma State, Alabama, Georgia, and the list goes on. So we're pretty successful at this, and we're confident we can continue to
And
do
these
that.
are at all division levels. And like Marshall said, they're doing their best to match up the student, as I think most academies do. They match up their student with a program that's not only going to make it so they can play, but it also has the educational desires that they need.
Right.
Absolutely. Not every student wants necessarily to be at the top program because maybe they won't play those 4 years, but there are other considerations. Academics, if they're looking for a top specific program, in marketing or medicine or any one of those fields, we'll match those up as well.
Well, Marshall, thank you so much for taking time. I'm sorry we didn't have more time for you, but we'd love to have you back on again.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
And we'll be back right after this.
We have a terrific golf tournament coming up in just a couple of weeks that's going to benefit folks all over Beaufort County, and it's a chance really for Beaufort County to give back to itself. Jerry Halterman is joining us. He's with Family Promise. The tournament is coming up September 28th at Hilton Head National. Jerry, first of all, tell us a little about Family Promise, and I think that'll be the call to action for folks to get involved.
I will. Thanks a lot. But first, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of Family Promise to thank WHHI for giving us this opportunity to talk about our charity and to talk about the tournament. As far as the tournament itself, the people who would like to play it are pretty much anyone watching this show. What we know is that golfers in general are very generous. You know that on the PGA Tour, they've already generated over $1 billion in these types of charity events. We're not going for that much, maybe a little less, but that's the idea. The second thing is the nature of the charity itself. Family Promise of Beaufort County, a lot of people don't know about it, and I will be talking more about that in just a few minutes. The other reason they'd want to play is the quality of the golf course. We're talking Hilton Head National, one of the finest courses in or off the island. And fourth, the entry fee is just a modest $100, which is a lot less than most charity events at $150 or $300.
Yeah, that's for sure. Family Promise, tell us a little more about it. I've been involved a little bit with it through my church, but tell us what Family Promise is trying to accomplish.
I love talking about Family Promise. What people don't realize is that in Beaufort County at any given time, there's around 250 homeless children. The whole purpose of Family Promise is that there shouldn't be any at all. So what we do is we work with about 17 different churches and congregations to provide temporary housing and shelter, food and shelter, for like 1 week at a time at each church, and we rotate that around. So we give them that homeless protection. But what I really like about the charity is that we're not just trying to do this piecemeal. The goal is to give these people training, job training, financial training, so they can put themselves in a position of permanent independence in the long run.
Give them some kind of a base to work from for a week at a time, and while they get out and either look for a job or train for a job.
Yeah, we usually set them up with a job before they leave.
Okay. And
we try to get them housing before they leave, and that's how it starts.
Well, Jerry, let's talk about the logistics of the event. You know, the date, the time, what's going to happen that day, food, all the stuff that, a player wants to know.
The tournament is on September 28th, which of course is coming up very soon. It will be at Hilton Head National. The format, there's two different formats. One is a scramble, which is the common format, but what I like to do is also offer individual scoring for those who want to do that. So there'll be individual gross, individual net, and some wonderful prizes in those areas. The fee, as I say, is $100, and that will be covering greens fees, cards, range ball, lunch, and some wonderful prizes.
And the way to get involved, what's the best way to find out?
Contact me. I think my information is at the bottom, but it's Jerry Halterman, 484-437-7152. But I want to emphasize once again that this is a really unique opportunity to provide, help out a lot of wonderful people in the charity, all at the same time while playing golf at a great course. Thanks very much again.
Jerry, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to get the word out about the Family Promise Golf Tournament coming up on the 28th.
As we said at the top of the show, we have a lot of change going on here on the island and some great change going on over at Sea Pines, Bob.
Yes, the Sea Pines Golf Club now has a new practice facility, and they're getting ready to move into a new clubhouse pretty soon.
New learning center?
Yeah, new learning center. Not at Harbortown. You guys know what the drill is at Harbortown. That's next year's story.
You bet.
This year's story, though, is over at Heron Point and the Ocean Course. John Farrell, the director of golf at Sea Pines, is joining us. Tell us about the new practice facility. It's open, it's ready.
It is. We opened, thankfully, on Monday, September 9th. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got brand new tees, great new practice space for our learning center, which will be open in the spring, and great drainage, lots of hitting bays. We've got a really exciting time in Sea Pines right now.
You know, everybody affiliates Sea Pines with Harbortown, but the ocean and Heron Point, I don't think they always get their due. What else do we have going on over there? What makes them so good?
You know, they're a great complement to one another. That's a great question, because what we have is we service and we cater to families and players of all ability levels, from PGA Tour players right down to the absolute beginner player. And we really feel like we've gone to great lengths to accommodate all players of all ability levels. So our Ocean course is considered a more beginner-friendly or family-friendly golf course. Our Heron Point, when it was redesigned by Pete Dye, we went to great lengths to have a place to play, a designated place to play with scorecards and tee boxes and everything for the family-style player. And then obviously Harbortown being a place that hosts the PGA Tour players every spring. So we feel like everybody that at every level of their game, at every point in their development of their game, has a place to play in Sea Pines Resort.
Much of the teaching that goes on down at Sea Pines happens at the Sea Pines Golf Club, at Heron Point in the Ocean course. Rick Barry's got to be the happiest guy
He is. He's great
anywhere right now with this great new
He's one of my
facility.
favorites.
Yeah.
Well, Rick's a happy guy, generally speaking. You could take Rick to a rock fight and he's going to have a blast. But Rick is thrilled to have these new facilities, state-of-the-art facilities, and it's only going to get better. The commitment to the game of golf from our ownership is absolutely outstanding. We're so pleased and so fortunate. The whole island, I really believe, is very fortunate to have this new ownership in Sea Pines, who are so devoted to the redevelopment of the resort from top to bottom. We're getting new and improved by the day.
Now, we talk about Rick as the head of instruction, but he's got a whole team down there. You've got a whole group of people working to help people get their game better.
Yeah. We have Future Stars programs. We've got kids that have never touched a club. They don't know which end of the club to hold that come and
Got to start somewhere.
That could be
yeah,
me.
we all
Hang
did. I mean, so we're very sympathetic to that. And our instructional programs are a kind of an unintimidating approach to the game, where people would leave saying, boy, I can't wait to do this again, and I'm sure glad I started now that I have. Instead of, wow, how am I going to remember all this? That's not what we do. We really want people to walk away saying, I can't wait to do this again. We want to engage them and get them excited about enjoying the game.
John, what can you tell us about the timeline for the clubhouse and its completion?
The new golf club at Sea Pines, which is home to the Ocean and Heron Point golf courses, looks to be completed by the spring. Even late this winter, February 1st, the end of January, 1st of February. It's now already, the roof's on and it's enclosed. It's beautiful. It's a kind of an understated elegance. If you've been to Kiowa, if anybody's been to Kiowa, you'll see that type of decor and that kind of construction is what was taking place at the beach, at the golf club at Sea Pines. It's the curb appeal is absolutely wonderful, and it's also keeping in concert with the vision for Sea Pines and an understated kind of elegance.
And well, you can log on to seapines.com to see pictures as it's going along, and you can also log on there and find out more about the new instruction programs going on at the golf club at Sea Pines.
Well, John Farrell, PGA Director of Golf at Harbortown Golf Links, thanks so much for joining us.
No, my pleasure. Thanks.
When we come back, we're going to talk fitness right after this. You're watching Golf Center on WHHI Sports. Welcome back to Golf Center. You know, Bob, in the world of golf today, fitness plays such a big role in everything that people do when it comes to their progression. And Jay Goodwin from Colleton River Plantation Club is here to tell us what he does for the membership over there. Jay, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here, sir.
So tell me, what is your role over there, and what are some of the things that you really have to focus on with the majority of the membership?
First priority that I have there is keeping the membership healthy and keep the body moving, keep the joints mobile, the muscles flexible, and so that they can enjoy the two beautiful courses we have at Colleton River and play for many years to come.
Should everybody have a pre-round, pre-practice routine of getting loose?
Definitely. If studies have shown there's different forms of stretching, ballistic stretching, which you should never do, that's the bouncing you see all the time. Static stretching, which is where you hold a stretch for anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds, and dynamic stretching, where you're actually doing multiple movements, where you're doing a lunge and you're rotating, or you're doing it more for a rep. And studies have shown static stretching has actually slowed down your club head speed. So before you go hit balls or before you play around a golf, you should definitely perform dynamic stretching.
Get yourself moving. Get yourself into motion.
Get the core temperature up and warm the body up.
You talked about club head speed. All of us want to increase our club head speed. My way to do it is just swing faster. Just swing fast going back and fast coming through it. I'm sure my club head speed is great, although the ball ends up in the woods. What's the best way to do that?
I actually have the same problem. I swing as hard as I can. I just don't know where it's going. The best way to do it is here at Colleton River, we have a fabulous program. It's called the Power Golf Program. It's led by David Laporte, the Director of Instructions at Colleton, and myself. And now we have a registered dietitian, Diane Wilson. So we basically, it's a 6-week program. It's intense. We put you through the ringer. And we work on everything, you know, mobility, stability, flexibility. David's got you on the TrackMan. He's working with you weekly on technique. Diane's making sure you're eating right. And within 6 weeks, we've had players 12 miles an hour faster, 8 miles an hour faster, 10 miles an hour faster. Sure. So it's an elite program, and we've had a lot of success there at Colleton River.
So with your program, how, you know, let's go by the steps here. You know, usually somebody comes in, they want to do it. Do they need a physical screening? What do you do with them?
Sure. The first thing I do with any of my players or any member at Colleton River is we do an initial assessment. Because without that, I can't put a program together. I have to know what's going on in your body. I have to find your limitations. I have to find out what you're good at. That way that I can really pinpoint a proper program for you to maximize our time and to get you, to the level that you want to be at.
And we talk about the assessment, Bob. This is something I know Jay and David and a couple others over at Colleton River Plantation Club are certified by the Titleist Performance Institute.
Right.
And this is something they do. They take you through a 12, 15 steps. Some even have more steps to find out what you physically can do and can't do, because there are direct correlations between things you can and can't do and what you can and can't do in your swing.
Can't accomplish.
So that's really, what that accomplishes and how it really helps the player. All right, we talked about how to get somebody into better shape. Let's talk about one of the most common injuries you definitely see for most people.
It's either wrist, low back, or golfer's elbow.
Yep.
I mean, those are the top 3 that I see on a daily basis, and those are again, they're caused by swing faults because of limitations in the body.
Well, Jay Goodwin, once again, I wish we had more time to talk about some more things, but we thank you very much for joining us, and we'll definitely have you back on.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me. Y'all have a great day.
And that's all the time we have for Golf Center this week. It breezed right by again, Bob.
It went by very quickly. We hope to see you again next time right here on Golf Center on WHHI.